Texas Governor Greg Abbott threatens to take back the police force from the Austin City Council after they vote to defund the police. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, and today on the internet, we're going to talk about based Texas, as well as talk about Portland. You see, over in Portland, it's the most amazing thing. Portland is making the rest of the state shun it because it's a location with lots of riots and lots of mayhem by protesters who are pushing for things like defunding the police. Now we're starting to see how it's all connected. And it's the same thing happening in Texas. You see, left-wing agitators, these are regressive leftists. They call themselves progressive, but we call them regressive because they seem to destroy everything they touch. They're pushing, these left-wing activists are advocating for defunding the police, abolishing the armed services, destroying the government, and taking over, putting something new, like socialism, like their Marxist utopia. So these left-wing activists are activating for things like defunding the police. And Texas governor has had enough. He's telling the city council, if you do this, you're finished. So we're going to take a look at both of these stories. But before we do, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit the bell button for notifications for more content, so you don't miss especially spicy videos or coverage. So subscribe, hit the bell button, and there you go. And now a quick word from our sponsor, Double Tap Audio. Are you tired of your headphones breaking? These are premium headphones with heavy-duty cords that will never break. Headphones that will always make a high-quality sound. It's made of once-fired brass. It even has magnets so that you can stick them together when you're not listening to them. And they come in various styles. We also have the R2 version, which are modular. These come with possible enhancements, such as Bluetooth technology. One full charge lasts 20 hours. Hard to beat that. Get yours today. Click the link in the description. So here we are. Texas Governor Greg Abbott said that he's considering legislation that would put Austin's police department under state funding as a way to protect it after the city council voted to defund it. Oh my gosh, they're planning to. So we have this phenomena, and this is why I'm talking about Portland as well. We have this phenomena of progressive leftism spreading like a virus and disease all over America. And everywhere this disease goes, it spreads, it propagates. For example, you have a bunch of people fleeing from California because the taxes are high, the policies have left the city in ruins, and everything has gone badly. So what happens? Well, Democrats and a lot of these so-called progressive leftists, they flee the state, they come to other states like Oregon, for example, and then they spread their left-wing ideology. Because when they move to, like, for example, a red state like Texas, they still vote Democrat. Literally. Like, the thing that caused all of their problems, which was voting Democrat, which they ran away from, they still vote Democrat when they move to places like Texas. And it's causing a lot of problems for everybody. Red states are being infested. So the article goes on to say, this proposal for the state to take over the Austin Police Department is one strategy I'm looking at. Abbott, a Republican, based in red-pilled, tweeted from his personal Twitter account Thursday. We can't let Austin's defunding and disrespect for law enforcement to endanger the public and invite chaos like in Portland and Seattle. Speak of the devil. Wow. Okay, yeah, absolutely. So this is a response to Austin City Council voting to defund the police $150 million. I want you to think about this. Usually all of the problems that we're seeing with the minority community and so-called oppression, which in most cases has nothing to do with oppression. Nothing at all. In fact, all of this is simply a crime problem. People commit crimes. The police get involved, boom, bada bing, bad things happen. But it would never happen in the first place if people, well, I don't know, would stop breaking the law. Maybe we wouldn't need as many cops. And we do need cops, folks. The riots have proven why we need the police, because when there are no police, they burn everything down. It's no exaggeration. It was not so long ago that a Trump supporter was hunted down, stalked by a gang of Antifa and left-wing activists, and he was executed. We have footage now showing that they stalked him and took him out. In fact, they're barely catching some of that guy's associates. His name was Michael Reinl, and he wasn't alone. Here, for example, is another suspect that is being caught. Here on the Portland Police press release, detectives located an unidentified person grateful for community help in this case. So this is one of the people who executed a Trump supporter in Portland, and he has been caught. So people are beginning to push back against this tyranny, against this insanity. According to Paxton, with the way the city is growing, it makes the city less safe. Adding, he believed the only reason to cut $150 million from the police's 2021 budget is that they're appeasing left-wing radicals who think this is a good idea. Oh, yes. Beautifully said. Now, I want to talk about left-wing radicals because when we talk about the regressive left, when we talk about the left, when we talk about BLM, Antifa, we're talking about left-wing radicals. And maybe that's the best way to say it. These are people who literally every state they run, every city that they're in charge of, falls apart. Taxes go high, people flee, there's poverty, there's lots of crime, and there's lots of minority suffering. Everywhere run by Democrats ends up a dump. I mean, I'm sure there's some Democrats in my audience. Do you really think that your city is in good shape? Have you seen the riots? Have you seen the taxes? Maybe there's a reason that the red states tend to be the best states. Janet4491 says, a real leader. Austin is a lovely city, but it is quickly going downhill thanks to progressivism. Progressive nutcases should move to their utopia, California. Personally, and I know this is going to seem a little bit mean, but I'm going to say it anyway. I personally believe that red states should ban Democrats from moving to their state. I think that they should not allow them to. Because what are they going to do? They're going to come to the red state, and then they're going to vote Democrat. They're going to spread their progressive baloney and infect the state. And then it's going to become a dystopia like California. It's the same pattern. Because these Democrats never learn. You are the problem. I'm sorry, but your policies suck. They cause suffering. They cause high taxes. They cause all of these problems, and they just never seem to learn. Here we see the New York Times official Twitter account. Portland is an island in Oregon, said the mayor of of a more conservative town about 30 miles southeast of the city. We are scared to death that what's happening in Portland will ever come out to where we live. So this article on the New York Times, and this is a left-wing rag, basically. It's all left-wing biased. They don't do conservative articles here. So this is their perspective. They're saying that 100 days of protest. A chasm grows between Portland and the rest of Oregon. The proximity of the left and the right in Oregon has created a dynamic of fear, mistrust, and anger. Absolutely. Here it says, barely a half hour from the Portland streets, where racial justice protesters on Saturday were marking 100 consecutive days of tempestuous, sometimes violent demonstrations, there are plenty of communities where people dismiss the protesters as lawless hooligans. Which they are. Have you seen the Portland riots? They're burning down the city on a daily basis, destroying people's lives, beating people in the street. Just the other day, again, Michael Reinl, him in a gang of Antifa and BLM thugs, hunted down, stalked, and executed a Trump supporter in cold blood. And then he lied about it. And then he was interviewed by Vice. This murderer was given a platform. And then he himself died when police went to rightfully arrest him, and he pulled out a gun and he fired at police officers. These people are the villains. They're the bad guys. Now I want to read you this quote because this says a lot about the left. Quote, I'm a normal person and I don't have extremist views. Miss Crimer said, normal people should be able to feel like they can fly an American flag and not get hunted down for it. You have normal Americans, regular patriots, scared to show their support for America because they're afraid that left-wingers will hunt them down? This tells you who the villains are. And it amazes me because they all think they're the heroes. Oh, we're left-wingers, we're liberals, we're on the right side of history. No, you're not. People are afraid of you. That doesn't make you powerful. It makes you tyrannical. Conservatives who have lived in the Portland area for decades say they increasingly feel like strangers in their own state. Same thing is happening in the far north of California, and other conservative areas and states around the country. That's what's happening, folks. It's spreading like a disease, and it has to be stopped. It needs to be contained. Like a disease, there must be some sort of vaccine. Now, what amazes me is just how arrogant the left actually is. Because the New York Times posted this on Twitter, and all you see in the replies are a bunch of left-wingers saying, "Nuh-uh, nuh-uh, that's not true." Jan Duncan says, Portland has had a very active, progressive group of people in it for decades. Yes, it's been very active as of late, but it's not new or a threat to spread to other cities around it. Yes, it is. It is a threat. It is a disease, because that's what's been happening with Californians leaving the state, infecting a city like Austin, and then voting to defund the police. You are a disease. Hackin says, "Listen to the protesters. They have an important message. Give us what we want or else. We're going to burn down your house." Now, finally, some reason. John Wisniewski says, "They have a good reason to be afraid. Extreme leftism is ruining this beautiful city. It could have remained liberal. Just maintain order." Yeah, never going to happen. I personally believe that liberalism is a dead end. I'm sort of a center-right person, libertarian, some authoritarian values. Because, if there's one thing I've come to understand, there is no freedom without order. People think that, "Oh no, that's not true. Those ideas don't mix." Yes, they do, actually. I'm going to prove it. What most people think of absolute freedom, they think of anarchy. They think of no rules. But are people freer in an anarchist society? No, because anarchy just turns into survival of the fittest. And most people will not be the strongest, so they're going to lose all their freedoms. It's almost like you need a system in place to enforce a certain amount of rules. It's almost like you need people to uphold those rules and enforce the law. I thought there was a word for something like that. I think it starts with a P. Peanut brittle? Possum? All right. The police. But you see all these left-wingers triggered, absolutely triggered, that people don't like their woke, progressive, leftist nonsense. But that, my friends, is merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? Let me know down below in the comment section. And there's just one more thing I want to say. There's a lot of people in that thread that were saying stuff like, "Well, I lived in the city all my life, and I never met a conservative." Okay, yeah. Well, guess what? I've lived in 4 or 5 different states. I've lived on, multiple continents. I've been all over the world, and I've seen all kinds of people. You've lived in your little liberal left-wing city your entire life. You know nothing about the real world. You know nothing about the countryside. You know nothing about conservatives. So when you say crap like, "Oh, I'm so smug. I never met a conservative. Portland is progressive, and I'm proud." Don't be, because you're an embarrassment. You're an embarrassment to the rest of the country and anyone who's sane. We're getting tired of your crap. We're getting tired of your nonsense. Anyhow, okay, that's all I got to say, folks. If you want to support the channel, join me on Patreon or Subscribe Store. If you want to donate, visit my donor box page or send me some crypto. And check out my sponsor. I'm going to be honest with you guys, and, I'm always honest with you guys, but I'm going to be extra honest. Most of my videos are demonetized and get limited ads. That means that I lose 90% of my revenue. So, I have some sponsors, and hopefully some more sponsors coming soon, with a variety of high-quality products. These are all great products that I believe in. So if you want to support the channel and you like some of these sponsors, like, for example, Double Tap, with the premium high-quality headphones, consider getting a pair. But you don't have to feel obligated or anything. It's only if you really want the product. At the end of the day, I just want to thank you for watching my video. One really easy way to support the channel is simply to share the video. Costs nothing, it's free. But for me, it means a lot. It really does. Now, I don't know, I'm in a really chatty mood right now. I gotta end this segment, folks. It's already too long. Thank you all for watching. Don't want to get sentimental here, but I just want to thank you. I'll see you all next time.